Good morning. Today we are going to explain Binet and Derbelet. We have two general translation strategies and seven procedures. For example, we have direct translation and oblique translation. The direct translations mean literal word for word, and oblique is free. We have borrowing called literal translation, transposition, modulation, equivalence, and adaptation. We start with borrowing. And borrowing is the idea of taking of the word from the source language and maintaining in the target language. For example, we have margaritas, tortillas, sushi, machete, spaghetti, pupusas. I'm going to make an example. For example, I like to eat pupusas. Me gusta comer pupusas en español. As you can see, the translation no changed. We are going to continue with call. A call is when an expression from the source text is transferred literally into the TT. For example, football in Spanish, football, and balompié. We have DVD en Spanish, DVD, con la pronunciación española. We have whisky, whisky en español, en whisky con el nombre propio. Y we have leader en English and leader en español. For example, I like those DVDs. Me gustan esos DVDs. Literal translation. The true translation method is only to be used under certain circumstances according. The idea of translating word of word in a way that does not alter the meaning is considered an acceptable use of literal translation by the two scholars. For example, the girl is sick. La niña está enferma. Esta es una traducción literaria. How are you? ¿Cómo está usted? And good morning, buenos días. My classmates is welcome to continue with another modulation.
Well, I'm going to continue with the other method, oblique translation. Here we have four categories: transposition, modulation, equivalence, and adaptation. The first one, oblique translation technique. Transposition is the first technique or step toward oblique translation. Operated at grammatical level consists of the replace of a word class by another word class without changing the meaning. What does it mean? Here we have an adverb and verb. According to the theory, we have only is an adverb. I only defend myself. In Spanish, yo no hice sino defenderme. Here is a verb, but here is an adverb. It the same meaning, with the same meaning, but with different words. Bad translation could be, I did nothing but defend myself. Adverb now. I wrote to you early this year. Le escribí al principio del año. The back translation could be, I wrote to you at the beginning of the year. It could be a literal translation. But transposition, we use another words, and with the same meaning. In this case, adverb and noun. Here we have an adverb, and here we have a noun, principio del año. We have here adverb and adjective. English. He lives precariously. En Spanish, lleva una vida precaria. Back translation. He lives a precarious life. It is a literal translation. Adjective now. He found it difficult to arrange for the trip. Difficult is an adjective, but here in Spanish said, tuve dificultad en hacer los arreglos para el viaje. Here is a noun, is not an adjective. Back translation could be, I have difficulty to make the arrange for the trip. Possessive adjective. It is a possessive adjective. Your hair is too long. Definite article. Here is an article and is not a possessive adjective. Tienes el cabello muy largo. The bank translation could be, you have the hair too long. This is a literal translation. Verb or past participle plus am now. I intend to tell you the whole truth. Mi intención fue o era decirte toda la verdad. Here we have the past verb, past tense. The verb is in past. And here is a noun, intención is a noun. Man's translation could be, my intention was to tell you the whole truth. Modulation. Modulation. We have modulation. Here we have two categories. One of these is amplification. An extra piece of information that was not there in the source text, but add in the target text without changing the meaning. What does it mean? Here in the sentences, for example, to speak a lot is a short sentence, but we amplify the sentences. For example, to speak a lot, and in Spanish, hablar en alta voz is longer than to English. Another sentence, to endanger is short sentence, but we amplified the sentence in Spanish. Poner en peligro. These others, higher education will contribute to your goals. La educación universitaria contribuirá al logro de tus metas. As you can see, it's an extra information, it's amplification. Another example, if I stay, here we can identify this is a short sentence, but in Spanish said, si decido quedarme is more longer. Omission used when the outcome of the cultural clashes that exist between the source language and the target language. We omit words. Here we omit words. For example, as you can see here, shit is just one word, but we can see here shit in the movie. It is a bad word, but we can translate carajos. Can I ask you a question? We can say, ¿puedo hacerte una pregunta? I have done nothing. No he hecho nada. it's a myth. Go to hell, vete ya. Go to hell, vete ya. The sentences in Spanish are more short than English. Equivalence, well, equivalence is when we use an idiom. We use an idiom. Probably here we use words that we at the beginning we think is not literal translation to Spanish. For example, here, in a nutshell, it's an idiom. It's a mean. En resumidas cuentas. This kind of words are common in English language. And also in Spanish. Take a dirty nap. Estirar la pata. This is another idiom. Estirar la pata. Es cuando alguien ya se está muriendo o se ha muerto. And the last one is adaptation. Used when the limit to translation is being reached. When a sample translation will not work or it will produce a result that is shocking in the target language and culture. For example, here title of book, movie, and character often fit into the category. Adaptation. We adapt this kind of words independent the country that or the language that you speak. For example, but constantly and the sentence kit. As you can see, if you try to translate this kind of sentence literal, it's not the same that we have here in Spanish. Dos hombres y un destino. It's different. This is the reason that we can't take in account adaptation, because this title is adapted to a new language. For example, the sound of music is not literal translation to Spanish. Sonrisas y lágrimas is not literal translation. It's different. Music, as you know, música, but here the word music is not appear here. Another clear example could be Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious is a movie. This movie is really good, and as you know, this name can adapted or was adapted to another country. For example, Spanish. Here in El Salvador we can say Rápido y Furioso, but in Spanish, there in España is A Todo Gas. The name change. They adapt this name to their country. Here are some examples. For example, here the name Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. In Spanish, Comando Especiales. Here the cover said Dos Policías Rebeldes. In English is Bad Boy 2. Bad Boy 2. Dos Policías Rebeldes 2 is the title. But here in English is Bad Boy 2. Also, we have here Bajo la misma estrella. The fall in our star is different. And finally we have Die Hard. Meaning in Spanish, Duro de Matar. Thank you for watching the video.